Hello everyone, welcome to the Engineering Projects YouTube channel. My name is Janesh Shahid and in this video I'm going to explain you how you can integrate identity management system into any ASP.NET Core project. Either you have existing project, either you are going to start a new project in ASP.NET Core. But we are going to use identity management system, which is plugin which we need to integrate, and we need to utilize that in our existing project, which is cloning of WordPress feature to ASP.NET Core modules. So we are going to develop our own competitive WordPress for custom usage CMS in ASP.NET Core, and for that we need to integrate a strong user management system. Either we can develop our own, or either we can use a strong one from the back of Microsoft. So ASP.NET Core have a feature of identity core. If you are using ASP.NET MVC, then you have identity simple management system which you can integrate. But if we are working with the ASP.NET Core, then we have core identity management system, which will allow us to create a complete user management system, profiles, password recoveries, email stuff, tokenization and one-click sign-on, and role management, permissions, policies, credentials, and so on stuff we have available in the identity management. And first of all, the major thing that it is strong and unbeatable. So if we are going to develop our own security management module, then maybe as a single person, I'm not a superhuman being, so maybe there are a lot of flaws in my logic, and maybe in some to up to some extent after a time someone can hack my logics. So if we are going with the identity, there is very low possibilities of get hacked or get break your security part, because they are using GUID. GUID is a most unique ID ever someone have. It is a combination of lot of things, lot of encryption and decryption applied on different parameters, and then 4 base chunk is available as a GUID ID. If you integrate the identity management system in your application, you will see that the user ID or the role ID is based on GUID. So the GUID is the most unique ID into your system. If you are using any integral ID as a primary key, that maybe get sometime get conflicted when you are migrating your database, or you are cloning the database, or you are running the script over existing database. But if you are using the GUID, it will be unique each time, and it will never get conflicted with your existing database. Either you are doing migration, cloning, running the script on existing database, or running the backups, and whatever the things you are doing, it will never let you see any error in the working process. So let's start the integration of identity management into our application, and let's see into the code. So this is our project in which we are going to integrate identity management system. First, we talk about the conventional identity usage in .NET MVC, where you have to click on local authentication whenever you are going to create a new project. Same is the case here. When you create a .NET Core project, it will also ask you for the local authentication, but it is useless here because in .NET Core there is no built-in template available for identity, but in MVC it's available. For .NET Core, we need to integrate that manually. So you need to right click here, and then you need to click on add, then new item. When you click on the new item, it will appear a new window in which you have to select what you want to add and what kind of template you want to integrate in your application. So go to the online, and here you will see there are a lot of templates available to integrate in your current application, but we need to find the identity one. So under the Visual C# there are a lot of things available. or if you go to the install in ASP.NET Core, if you will expand web, and there are a lot of things available. Or you can search for identity. Okay, you can search for identity. If it's not available here, then you need to click on add and you go for existing item. In the existing, so go to here and you need to click on new scaffolding item. Once you have installed the identity, it will be available here. So when you click here in identity and you click on this identity and click add, so it will prompt you that you want to install identity module in your application or not. So I have clicked OK to install. And now what happened, in the area identity available now, which will allow me to integrate login, registration, one-click sign-on, roles, permission, and so on stuff. Now it is asking me to select the layout page or the design page you want to use as your main layout. So if I will make it empty, the default layout will get utilized automatically. But if I will specify this, then all the pages have this layout by default. So if you have any kind of generic layout page which can help you to reduce your time and coding effort, then you can utilize that layout name here. We also have a main layout which is for the WordPress, or we are converting that into ASP.NET Core module, but we are not going to utilize that for all the pages. There are a lot of pages available which you can utilize in the case of identity, but we need a few one. It's upon your requirement what you actually want. So I want a login page, logout page. So I need just two pages, login and logout. Or I need a registration page too. So I have to see where is the registration page, or you can click this to get all the pages which are available for you. So I'm going to take 3 pages. It will allow me to log in, it will allow me to log out, and it will allow me to register any user in the application. If you want to use other stuff, like you need external logging, like you want to log in into the application with the help of Gmail, Facebook, and so on stuff, you can use this. These are the status messages. If you want to enable the forget password functionality, so whenever a user want to recover his password, he can utilize this page to recover the password. If you want to show any access denied permission page, like if someone don't have permission, then you can utilize this page to reflect that user in the response that you are not allowed to access this module and blah blah blah. So there are confirm email page. So whenever a user is registered in the application, he will receive a token in email, and that token will be submitted in this confirm email page, and upon the successful confirmation, only then the user is unable to access the application. So there are a lot of features available with the unique perspective and utilization. So I click on all, override all. So in future when I need anything, I don't need to get backward and do this step again. I have all the pages available. What I do, I simply go to utilize that page and my work is get done. Now here you have to define what is the data connection you are utilizing. If you are going to create a new project, and in the new project your first thing is to add the identity management, then you click on this plus icon and it will generate a new context class for your identity independently. So individually you are working on the single-handed data context which is entertaining identity management system. So we already have application DB context. That's why we are not going to entertain a new context here. So I will click this and I will click add. Okay, one thing more, even that you can use this checkbox for SQLite instead of the SQL Server. It is a really rich feature if you have knowledge of database. Suppose that you want to you don't want to have SQL Server separately service to utilize, then you can utilize SQLite, which is a text-based SQL management system which can store all of your database things into a text file, and that will only cover your hardware and not any process. If you have any experience to work with Azure or any other third-party services, they will charge you extra for SQL Server. In that case, to reduce your cost, you can utilize SQLite in your application. But I'm working on the localhost server, so I'm going to utilize this and click on add. Now what happened, these all pages are already existing. It's saying me that these all pages are already existing in your application. Do you want to replace them, or do you want to what you want to do? So for example, I say that okay, I want to replace them. So what happened, it will replace all that pages with the default code of login, registration, and all the stuff. I think there are 42 pages for different actions which we can utilize as a user in any application. So after this complete scaffolding process, we just need to define just one thing, that our default page is get authorized. How we can do that? You can see we have done the scaffolding process. Now the next step is to go to your startup class and see what is your default page which will appear after the successful execution of the application. So here in the routes, you can see we have home controller as a default controller, and this index is the default part of our application. So I will go to the home controller and simply what I will do, I will add a small action filter which is named as authorized, and add its reference. Okay, it's gathering the reference. Okay, now I am going to use Microsoft ASP.NET Core authorization. When I added this reference, this page automatically redirected to the login page, and until I will log in successfully into the application, I cannot access the home page. So what I will do, the home page is a part of the client side where we have latest post articles on the blog post page. We are going to utilize that on the pages controller. So the pages controller is a part of the backend where the admin can log in, create post, create pages, create stuff. So I will add this authorized filter in the page controller. Now what we do, we will test this by executing this application, and then we will access pages controller, and we will see the pages controller automatically redirected to the login page, and we have to provide the credentials. So here we have the browser, and now oops, we have one thing missing. When you have added any identity or something in your application, you need to add the migration first. Okay, and you also need to define that in your starter file that you are going to utilize ASP.NET Identity Management System. So you have to define that in the scope here. So there are two major classes available in ASP.NET Core Identity, which is identity user and identity role. So identity user define the user tables and role define the roles table. So whenever someone register in your application, it will store into the ASP.NET user table, and whatever the role you assign, that reference to ASP.NET roles table. So we need to add that in our services. So in that case, we can utilize in our application. We cannot consume that without adding that here. As you can see, we have already defined application user as the default identity user in our application. Okay, so when I click here, it will lead me to this page where I have identity user, and the type space could not found here. You can see that in this it is not available right now. So instead of using custom identity user, we are going to utilize the default one, and the default one is like something like this. If we comment out this and utilize add identity user, here you can see there are a lot of options: identity user and identity role. So these are the two classes which we need to utilize in here, and we can utilize this thing. Now we need to clean our project once, and then we will build that. Okay, so it's clean. Now once build it. After that, we will add migration in this part. Okay, it's not founding that. We need to build that again. We need to found the existing class and remove its reference. So it is using a lot of places. So I'm using this instead of the identity user. So simply change this one, and this will be the fine. Now build that again. Okay, it's still saying that you are missing the stuff. Okay, so in manage nav page we need to visit. This is the manage navigation page, and here we have this. We are injecting this part, and for injection we need to define the path of this thing. So we will say using this. So now it will get the reference of this. Okay, now it's fine. Now rebuild that again. Okay, now it's look fine. Okay, now for auxiliary I will add migration. So if there's no database available for this table that will automatically create it. Okay, one thing more, when you work with identity, two tables are not created by default in the migration, but they are actually created in the backend. The first table is for the ASP.NET user, and the second table is for the ASP.NET roles. So when I will update database, most probably there are a lot of chance it will provide the error for ASP.NET user table. Okay, that's good. It doesn't provide me any error, so these tables are created. Now what I have done, I have pages controller on which I have provided authorized action filter. So when I will visit any page regarding regarding the pages controller, then I will have definitely an error on the screen, which will redirect me to the login page where I have to log in into the application. So this is the application page. The first page is the blog and home page where it doesn't apply the authorization. The authorization is available on pages. So whenever I try to access that, I have to log in into the application. So until I will not log in, I am not able to access pages. Okay, comparative to this, if I will go to post categories page and copy this thing and go to this page, you will see that I am able to access this because I doesn't apply authorization action filter on this controller. So whenever you will apply authorization filter on any controller, that will become a strongly coupled with the identity management. So until you will provide your credentials, you are not able to access that module. In this way, we have covered our user management system. If we go to the database structure, we can see there are almost 8 to 9 tables are created in the name of ASP.NET. So ASP.NET user contain the information of the user, ASP.NET role contain the information of the roles, and ASP.NET user roles contain the bridge in which user ID and role ID available, which are going to integrate the relationship between the user and the role, because one role have multiple user, so it's containing one multiple user relationship. So we are successfully covered this. You just need to register in this application. You can simply register as a user, and you need to visit your database. You need to enable true check for the email confirmation. If you are not able to confirm your email, you can go to your database and manually enable that check true. So in that case, you can log in into the application successfully, because until application is not authenticated, your user token which is sent to you in the email, you are not able to log in into your application. So that's why it's really secure. So even that when you register in your application, you have a lot of feature. You can recover your password, you can direct login registration, and you can integrate the pages of profile and lot of stuff available into the identity management. So finally, we are done with this tutorial in which we have learned identity management system provided by the Microsoft for .NET family. It is a one-stop solution for ASP.NET Core, MVC, WPF, and Xamarin. If you are using all the platform, you can use a single identity management system for all of that with the help of API or microservices. So don't forget to subscribe the Engineering Projects YouTube channel. Keep support us so that way we can provide you a good content and provide a lot of time on this. Take care. Bye bye. Have fun.